guys, it's your girl Yasmin here with the Small Business Spotlight. In the studio today, we have a very interesting guest. Her name is Heather Morgan, and she is going to sit with us today and tell us about Digital Defense LLC. Hi, Heather. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
So I know I introduced your name already, but if you want to go ahead and introduce your name, like just who you are, where you're from, and how did Digital Defense come about?
Sure. So, my name is Heather Morgan, and I am originally from Mississippi, a very small town. And when I left high school, I decided to go into the Marine Corps, and that started this huge, journey of trying to do the coolest things I could. And so I did intel in the Marine Corps for about 9 years. And while I was doing that type of work, I just realized how much of our data is exposed out there, how easy it is to sit down at a computer and find somebody and find their address. How crazy and scary is that,
It is.
right?
It is. Your identity is on the
So,
line.
yeah, and so I wanted to figure out, how can I make people that did the work that I do more safe? How can I provide them a level of privacy that would, protect them with what they do?
So you said you were in the Marine Corps. Your MOS was Intel.
Yes.
So like you said, this is what spiraled everything, and you're like, that was the foundation of digital defense. Where did I'm assuming digital defense just came from the military in general as your experience in there.
It did. So, we'll backtrack a little bit. Actually, after the Marine Corps, I worked in the federal sector as a contractor, doing kind of the same work. And I got burned out with that and became a flight attendant.
Oh wow, that's
Random,
different.
right?
That's very different.
And after doing that for a couple years, I just kept trying to figure out how can I take my skill sets and what I know how to do and make a business out of that and work for myself.
Absolutely.
So, with just a computer and a kitchen table, I sat down and started Digital Defense.
And you're in your kitchen table,
Yeah.
in the middle of your kitchen. You mentioned working especially with high risk professionals like law enforcement and military personnel. Why is this group a primary focus for your service? Again, I know you were in the military, so you obviously that is your background. So and then law enforcement came in. So do you mostly work with, or have you mostly worked with law enforcement and only military personnel?
You know, our services are intended for anybody that desires a level of privacy in their life, especially with the internet in existence and how much we use it daily. It's interesting how much law enforcement came into the picture. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't truly realize in the beginning just how much law enforcement officers are exposed out there, with what they do. And so it was interesting to see many of my clients show up that were in law enforcement and interested in having their data removed from these public websites so that someone couldn't just show up at their house.
Right. Because I mean, being out there, you're arresting people. So obviously someone might have a vendetta towards you, I'm sorry. And just, so I completely get it why cops, their job in itself is dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a risk. One of your services is comprehensive digital footprint audit. What does that process look like from a client's perspective?
Sure. So there are thousands of websites out there that sell your info. There are those people finder sites like True People Search and Spokeo. And you can do a Google search and pull up all these links to those websites. So I essentially provide a monthly subscription type deal where we'll check a few of those sites each month, a few of the bigger ones to keep your data off of them. But with the comprehensive audit that we do, that is an opportunity for you to dive deep into what's out there about you. And instead of going month to month, which I recommend doing anyway, we go through our entire list of sites that we check at one time and we go through and scrub your data from those. So it's kind of like tackling it all in one massive sweep.
Okay. That's amazing. Because I feel like someone like me, I use the internet every day. We use our credit cards every day to online shop. Do you feel like is there our information is out there more than we can possibly understand? Like just having our information out there, is there more that we don't know as someone who is completely like me? I use the internet like the average Joe.
Oh, yeah. I think people are often surprised at, I can tell you, with most people, unless you're really privacy conscious, I can sit down and Google you and find out exactly where you live within 30 seconds to a minute, you
Oh my
know?
God, I know
I
that's
mean, how
scary.
scary,
It is
right?
scary because I can actually, because I know there's like I think I've done it. I looked up my address and I see that it has my boyfriend's name on it, so I know who lives there. I know who the homeowner is or currently. So that's kind of scary. Can you share a story, respecting confidentiality, of course, about a client who saw real transformation through your service?
Absolutely. We had a client once that was he was law enforcement working with a federal agency, and due to the nature of his work, it was extremely important that he had little to no digital footprint out there. So, what we did is we did a comprehensive audit on his data first. And then month to month, we would stay on top of those websites and make sure his data stayed off of them. One thing that he noticed was he stopped getting a lot of spam calls and texts.
Oh, after you went into the audit.
Yeah, so not only were we protecting, his identity, his location, and things like that, we were also relieving him of spam calls and texts. And once we figured that out, we were like, well, that's just a bonus for our services.
Yeah, I can imagine the amount of just calls I'm rejecting because it's spam calls. What are the most common mistakes you see individuals making when it comes to their online privacy and data exposure?
Being too quick to put your name and your address on things. Oh yeah, we all are. And
I'm guilty.
I have to tell you, you know, as a business owner too, and what I do, the amount of info that's out there about me and my business is even alarming to me. But in order to be a business owner and have a business and gain
Right, we have to be
clientele, you
open.
have to be open. And that's been pretty hard for somebody like me to be,
Right.
out there.
Because your job is privacy.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
but you yourself, it's funny how you yourself, your business has to be completely open, which is so you mentioned that you were a flight attendant before you took on digital defense. What was that like, the transition of going, I'm getting a paycheck. This is, I know I'm getting paid in 2 weeks and then leaving that comfort or that cushion to being your own boss and making your own hours and not, how was that for you making that transition? I'm leaving my 9 to 5. I'm going to do this full time.
Yeah. So it wasn't a matter of I'm going to leave the airlines and I'm going to start this business and go full throttle. It was an opportunity. I had an opportunity to take a break and focus on myself personally for a little while. And while I was doing that was when I was really digging and searching deep for how I can monetize my skill sets, right? I am being a veteran. I have I have the wonderful opportunity to go back to school, right? So I've been going back to school and running this business, but there hasn't been an immense amount of pressure on me to make sure that I'm completely replacing my income with this yet, right? So we are definitely, we've grown in the last 3 years tremendously. So it's definitely getting to where this is going to be my full-time focus.
That's that's what we do it for, right? So we can get to that point. Like I can finally drop my 9 to 5 and this is my income solely and doing what you love. And you can't fire yourself. We had someone on our podcast not too long ago say, if you're your own boss, you can't fire yourself. You can't get fired because you're your own boss. And I think that's what we all strive for.
Yeah, but the level of pressure
Oh, definitely.
that lies on you as a business owner, No matter whether it's your full-time job or your part-time job, that's a lot of pressure, and it's up to you to do the work, right?
It is.
You can't fire yourself,
You can't.
but
You can only hold yourself accountable. Now, Heather, were there moments of doubt while you were building digital defense?
yes,
You had moments of doubt.
yes.
Explain that to me.
So I am not the only company that does what we do. There are many out there, and they're definitely coming to light a lot recently. I've seen a lot of them pop up. But I kind of became discouraged when I realized that they automate and they have these tools and the resources to automate what we do. And I was discouraged by that. But then I thought, wait a minute, I'm a privacy minded human being looking through what info is out there about you, like your adversary or your enemy would be looking for you. And so I kind of had an aha moment where I realized that's what I bring to the table that's different from my competitors is I'm not using automated tools to scan for your info. I am looking at what they're going to see first.
Right. So in a way, it's like you were coming from a perspective of like someone else doing it. Not like you said, there's tools, there's machines doing it, and it's you're the human being behind it, and you're doing the research on these people, and you're finding them, and you're finding everything under their name. So so I can see where it's more personal than just these big brand companies that do this, which is amazing. With Heather, with the digital landscape constantly changing, how do you stay ahead of new threats, like online threats, and ensure your clients are protected long term?
I will say I've got good clientele that are always asking me, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you remove this? Can you remove that? And with each question like that I get, if I can't do it, I try to figure out a way, how can we make that happen? How can I do something equivalent to that? How can I come up with a solution for that problem? And because of them demanding what they want, it's kind of allowed me to grow and to add skill sets and capabilities to what we do.
And how long would you say it took for you to start seeing clients come in when you first started?
Maybe within the first 6 months to a year. Yeah, a lot of my clients are word of mouth. Um, you know, some of the law enforcement officers that we serve have really been happy with what we've done for them, and they tell their friends, and their friends are like, "I'm interested. Can she do this? Can she do that?" So yeah, we've got good clients that have helped us to grow all along the way.
Now, you've been for 3 years. Now, is your clientele just normal people, like someone who's not in law enforcement or military personnel? Is it just, like someone like me? Is that your clientele now that you're starting to see?
I
Just
do.
people, normal
We
people.
actually are hoping to bring in more of your typical day-to-day, you know, workers and employees and homeowners, and we're trying to expand our services to those to anybody really. Although our focus has been primarily, not intentionally, on law enforcement personnel and government personnel, but we strive to get the message out there that what we do doesn't just apply to them.
Right.
Everybody's at risk.
Okay. When you started, did you have a support system with you,
I
or
did.
do you still? What has been your support system?
My support system has been my, I'd say, my closest friends and people that I served with that understand what I do and that are just amazed at how I took what I did and learned from the Marine Corps and how I monetized that and how I, was able to do that in the civilian sector.
Right. That's amazing. That you took what you learned in the Marine Corps and you applied it to civilian life when you got out, well, to be able to build digital defense. Heather, for small business owners or individuals listening today, what is one step they could take to immediately reduce their digital exposure?
Oh, do a Google search on yourself. It sounds so simple, but do a Google search and don't do it from I'd say go to Google Chrome, sit down and type in your name,
I'm kind of
and
scared. To be honest.
I'm telling you,
Like, what am I gonna find?
it's wild.
Because I think I think I did a search on myself a while ago, or like my mom at one point, and it showed every address that she lived at, and it showed the potential relatives, and I'm like, oh my God, that's my uncle. Oh, that's my aunt. It's crazy. Like, how do they get all that?
So when you sign up for things like, let's say, in a grocery store for their rewards card, now when you enter your info in, your name, your address, your birthday, all of that, that info is most likely going to get sold or leaked. And so there is something you can do to identify who's selling your info. A little trick of mine is when you're signing up for something like that, give a different, spell your name slightly different. So let's say, you're at a big chain grocery store and you want to sign up for the rewards card, do something different with your name so that when you go to do a Google search on yourself and you find your name spelled that way or however you wrote it, you're going to be like, oh, I signed up at this grocery store. They sold my information. So you can actually skew the results that come up about you. So where does your mind wander when I say that? What else could I,
Right. What else
how
can
can
they
I
have?
manipulate what's out there about me?
Okay, so manipulate the system. Manipulate it. Don't give your full information. Tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Now, Heather, where can where can someone find more information about your services?
Sure. So we have a website. It's called DigitalDefenseLLC.com. And we also have an Instagram page and we put tips and tricks on there. It is digital_defense. And we can be reached by email at info@digitaldefensellc.com.
Perfect. Well, Heather, it's been amazing sitting here with you. I think I've learned so much. I'm going to go ahead and do a Google search on myself and my boyfriend because I'm sure we have information out there that we do not know about.
Yeah.
So thank you again for coming on the show, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So today was my first time appearing on camera for my business and talking about what I do. And I was so excited about this opportunity, but I was a little nervous because I've never been on camera before talking about what I do. So these guys made me feel really comfortable. They prepared me well, and I'm really excited to see how this turns out. And I'm super grateful to be here.